What's up? It's Kaero. Welcome back to the channel. Today is day 3 after Dominaria United release on MTG Arena. We are in ranked standard best of 1, platinum 4 right now, doing a brand new deck. This is Esper Midrange. It's based around some high value 3 drops that we can replay with Serra Paragon. It's got some planeswalkers and it's got a few new cards. I'll do a deck breakdown here. If you don't want to see that, there's a deck list below and you can go straight into the gameplay using the timestamp. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. It helps me to bring more content. And here we go. So, very good one drops for Dominaria United that we can add to our decks. And those are in the form of Cut Down, which is 1 black to destroy target creature with total power of toughness 5 or less. So, takes care of 2 2s, 3 2s, add up to 5, 4 1s, 1 4s, 2 3s, all that good stuff. So, a very versatile removal card. We also have Rona's Vortex, which is a one-sided unsummon. You can't bounce things that you control, but you can bounce a creature or a planeswalker that the opponent has back to their hand. Then if you also kick it for 1 black and 2 generic for a total of 4 mana, that card goes to the bottom of their library, which is actually very cool. Sometimes better than just straight up removal, because they won't have ways to get it back out of the graveyard. 2 Meathook Massacres for wiping the board, gaining a little bit of life here and there. Wedding Announcement. This is the first one of our high value 3 drops. Play this, generate some tokens, can draw you cards if you're ahead. Very good, and then it pumps your whole team. Welcoming Vampire can draw us cards whenever we make tokens with Wedding Announcement or the Wandering Emperor. We have a new card, Temporary Lockdown. This is double white, 1 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, it exiles each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less until it leaves the battlefield. So as you can see, we only have 1 permanent in this deck that's mana value 2 or less, and that's Meathook Massacre. Not the end of the world if it gets exiled, usually, because we basically want it for its board wipe effect. But this is very good against aggro. It's extremely good against tokens. And it gets rid of treasure tokens and blood tokens and stuff too. And Reckoner Bankbuster and all the 2 mana artifacts. Liliana of the Veil. 2 black, 1 generic for a 3 loyalty planeswalker. A lot of times if you're behind, you'll -2, make somebody sacrifice a creature, and then you can +1 it to have each player discard a card. You have to discard a card as well, but as you'll see, we have ways of getting our cards back out of the graveyard, so usually doesn't hurt us as much as it hurts the opponent. We have Rafine Scheming Seer, one of the all-stars of Streets of New Capenna, for 3 mana, 1 of each color in Esper, a 1/4 flying 1, board 1. It has a high toughness. It's hard to get rid of, especially with red-based removal. Unless it's Voltage Surge, you're going to have a hard time getting rid of this. And if it's around, it attacks, it connives, it makes itself bigger. It's just a nice wall, and it can finish out games. Rafine is an excellent creature, especially if you're in Esper. I'd consider running Rafine in most decks. Serra Paragon is really what makes this deck snowball out of control in terms of value. So it's a new card from Dominaria United. It's a mythic rare. It's 2 white, 2 generic for a 3/4 Flying Angel. And once during each of your turns, you can play a land from your graveyard or cast a permanent spell with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. And when you do, it gains, when this permanent is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, exile it and gain 2 life. So we can see Wedding Announcement, if this is taken care of, we can replay this. We can replay Vampire. We can replay Liliana or Rafine, which is great. We can also replay Temporary Lockdown if they take care of it, because it is an enchantment and not just a board wipe sorcery. We have 3 Wandering Emperors, one of the all-stars of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. This card is removal, this card is token generation, and this card is creature buffing. It's very good. Memory Deluge for some card draw. Airtight Resurrected, a new creature from Dominaria United, black, blue, 2 generic for a 3/2 flash. When he comes in, you can counter a spell, and this is very important, an activated ability or a triggered ability. So not only spells, but any abilities that you don't want happening. You can counter that when he comes in. The controller of that ability or spell draws a card, which is a little bit of a downside, or you can destroy another creature, and then the controller draws a card. So Airtight is very versatile. He's pretty good. Obscura Interceptor is our other Urtai-like creature from Streets of New Capenna, a 4-drop 3/1 flash lifelink. When it comes in, you can return a spell to its owner's hand, and then it connives and it has lifelink, so it's actually very good with Rafine. As far as lands, we have the legendary land here from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty in white. We have the one in blue. We have the one in black. We got some plains, islands. We got some swamps. We've got a couple new pain lands here, and the Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow duels. And of course, we have the Triomes and Rafine's Tower. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. I'm going to give a shout out to the members of the channel before I get into the gameplay. Thank you very much for joining. It's Country Fried. It's Ben Garcia. It's Benjamin Clay. And it's Eli K. Thank you. See you next time. It is Esper Midrange time, baby. Rafine's got some new friends, and they are here to make themselves known. Let's see. We've got Liliana the Veil, Deluge, and Serra Paragon. All right. Let's do it. Rafine's Tower on 1. Make sure that's our first play because it enters tapped. Opponent's got a Haunted Ridge. Yeah. We'll play a Swamp here, and then we'll get Deserted Beach down. Bloodcaster, what does that do again? 2/1 flying. When that or another non-token creature you control dies, create a blood token, and then as long as you have 5 blood tokens, you transform into a 3/3 flying, and then it animates blood tokens. Okay. We're gonna go Rafine first. Get a blocker set up, and then we'll talk about Liliana the Veil. Okay. Alright, let's put Lily out. Let's see which one they want to sacrifice.
Those who get in my way tend to regret it. I've always
Temporary lockdown is nice. Let's get rid of the Deluge. Can always flash it back later. Especially if they play more 2-drops. I am totally here for that. And exiling all non-land permanents with mana value 2 or less. Okay. Lily dies, but that is actually okay. We're going to exile their Blood Token, their Meathook Massacre, and their Slaughter Specialist right now. And then we'll be able to go Serra Paragon, cast Liliana of the Veil back from the graveyard. Rona's Vortex I see being pretty good. We'll keep that. Well, let's exile all the things. That's a satisfying animation. Like that. Florian, Voldaren Scion, 3/3 first strike. Beginning of your post-combat main phase, look at the top X cards of your library. X is the total amount of life your opponent's lost this turn. Exile 1, put the rest on the bottom. You would play the exile card this turn. Okay. Let's bounce this. And then we have Airtie. Very good. Attack and Connive. Liliana the Veil. Let's get rid of that because we can play that back again with Serra Paragon. We'll be okay. Cool.
no more distractions.
We're gonna sacrifice Rafine.
One of your friends has to leave.
And then we'll replay Rafine. Alright, got there. Yes. So the Serra Paragon is pretty incredible at casting 3-drops from your graveyard back to the battlefield. So we had a lot of powerful stuff in here. We had 2 Lilianas. We're able to cast Rafine back even after they made us sacrifice it. And then the reason I kept Wandering Emperors and Airtie, because we can't cast those from the graveyard with Paragon. It has to be mana value 3 or less. So, good game. Really satisfied with that. Alright, we're going first. This looks fine. As long as we draw a land, we've got some good tools in Rafine and Wedding Announcement. And we have some good tempo plays with Rona's Vortex here early. So, I'm satisfied with the hand so far. In order to be able to cast Rafine, we either have to draw blue or white, because we have Addercar Waste here. Nice to have a dual, and then also a basic swamp. I think that's fine. I don't think we're going to waste a bounce on that yet. Okay, cut down. So we have access to cut down and Rona's Vortex here. And we're facing mono red, so this looks pretty promising as long as we can draw a land next turn. Fine with the 1. We'll take that. Save the removal. Any other things you're gonna play? Maybe like a Firebrand? Nothing? Okay. No land. Alright. Now it's gonna get tricky for us. Burn us to 15. Once again, we take, because we know there's more powerful things on the horizon that we might need to use the removal for. No land again. We're going to have to discard now. So rather than discard, let's cut this down. And then hopefully they play land, play a Thundering Raiju, we bounce it back to their hand. We can do that twice. Automaton. Ward 2, when you cast an artifact spell, put a counter on it. Alright. That Ward 2 is annoying when we only have 2 lands. There we go. I'm hoping the high toughness on Rafine will make them unable to remove it in mono red. Lightning Strike won't remove it. We have to be careful though, because I think these mono red decks like to run Shivan Devastator, which is a flying 1 red X, and it just comes in as an XX flyer. However, they do have the Automaton, which means they want to cast artifacts. High speed hover bike, flash flying 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, tap up to 1 target creature. They can crew it for 1. The tap Rafine. Luckily, we're going to have a 1/1 chump blocker, so they're not going to be able to get through on the ground. But we do need to consider getting a meat hook down here pretty quickly because we are at 10 life. So they're just burning and hover biking. That's their thing. Okay, so they're gonna tap down Rafine in the hopes that they get to attack us and kill us. Probably time for us to Rona's Vortex that automaton back so they can't crew their vehicles, and hope they just don't have a way to do it. Although these have crew of 1. Meaning that if we Rona's Vortex this back to their hand, they play it again, they just crew automatically. If we Liliana the Veil, they can't crew this up, so they actually have to sacrifice the automaton. So let's see if that's enough. If they don't have a creature...
A fight? And you think you can win?
If they don't have a way to crew that and keep tapping Rafine...
Always hated crowds.
No creature. We need to gain some life. Only a matter of time until we get burnt. Not having those lands really hurt us. Need them to have creatures so I can gain life. We've got 2 Rona's Vortexes to bounce things. Discard 2 cards. Deluge and a Meat Hook. Obscura Interceptor has lifelink. Can we make it? Can we make it to the point that we are able to put Obscura Interceptor in and connive with it and gain life? Do they draw a burn spell here or a creature to crew the hover bike? Emperor can gain us life. If they drew a land, I think we're good. If they drew a burn spell, we're dead. Kumano. We go to 1. All right. We might have to exile our own tapped creature with the Wandering Emperor to gain some life. We do have Interceptor. Stop their spell. If they crew... Alright. Let's go in here. I think we're gonna make it. If it's a burn spell, let it just be 2 damage. Ronin. Oh, they channeled it. Okay, to draw a card. Are we gonna get there? This is intense. They drew a land. Yes. We got there. We're at 1 health. Trying to eke out ways to gain life. And I'm like, we have Wandering Emperor. They don't have a creature. We could exile our own tapped creature to gain 2 life. That puts us at 3. We have an Obscura Interceptor. If we can get an attack in with this and connive a bunch with it, that will win us the game. But I'm like, if they draw Play with Fire, we might, or Lightning Strike, we might be dead. Good game. Opponent goes first. I like our land situation. Although not having 2 black for Liliana kind of sucks on turn 3, but we'll have temporary lockdown and Serra Paragon mana if we draw one. Alright, that's good. Yeah, we're going to get hit for 2. Hopefully they play something else that's small. Not so good. But we can overcome it.
I'm tired of your secrets.
Let's discard a Paragon, because we have 2. They got rid of a Roadside Reliquary. Sacrifice it, draw a card if you control an artifact, draw a card if you control an enchantment. Alright, so that tells us something about what's going on. So Lockdown can get rid of Underdog. You can go Liliana the Veil, make them sacrifice their Underdog, and then they make it just discard a card.
Something suspicious is going on. And for once, it's not my fault. One of your friends has to leave.
Okay, they're going to kill our Liliana, but that's okay. Because we'll have Serra Paragon to be able to bring that back, hopefully.
You won't be outsmarting me.
We just can't let them ultimate their Liliana, basically. Necessary thing. Grab a meat hook. I guess a Liliana. Ah, I should have waited on that memory deluge. That sucks. Yeah, if I would have waited until that resolved on that memory deluge, they wouldn't have been able to exile it. That was a punt on my part.
Drop it. This is my home, and I don't appreciate. Don't overthink things.
Yeah, I think we lost this one. I did punt a little bit there on the memory deluge, but I think ultimately we were just outplayed here, and you know, kind of in a bad matchup too. but the opponent's playing very well. But I don't think there's much that's going to save us here. Takanuma, we can get back Liliana, but Liliana doesn't help us. We can get back Serra Paragon. They can just make us sacrifice it though with Liliana, and they're gonna ult it. Yeah, so we'll just concede. Because they're gonna make us sack lands. Well played, good job. That was a good game. Alright, opponent goes first. Our lands are looking good here. Turn 3, Rafine feels good. Liliana, we can do that on 3. Alright. Reinforcements. That's not what I was expecting. 1/1 flash and a 1/1 soldier. And Broker's Ascendancy, putting counters on things. Yikes. We need to draw another white land so we can do our temporary lockdown on all these tokens. We don't have one yet though. That is a nice curve out. 2 soldiers, Broker's Ascendancy, putting counters on them every turn. Feels a little scary. Yeah, we need another white mana. Especially if they throw down more cheap creatures. We'll temporary lock down everything. Block one of them at least. Deluge, not good. Alright, let's attack. See if we can drum up a white mana here. Nope. Okay, let's make a chump blocker anyway. Countered it. Alright. Where is the second white mana to get rid of these tokens? We are going to get pummeled to death here. Go to 8. There it is. Alright, we don't have a choice. It's lockdown time. See if we can stabilize from there. We have an Emperor now. We have an Interceptor now. We have Liliana if they play something massive. I feel like Titan of Industry is in our future here. Okay, well at least make them smaller. Okay, we're gonna go Airtie. We're gonna kill one, block one. Just gotta keep killing these little things. Hopefully next turn we can Emperor, kill whatever they do. we save it for the Emperor, right? Or do we go welcoming vampire wedding announcement for us? Hope to draw into a meat hook or something. Anyway, we can get rid of that enchantment at all? We can't do anything about it, really. Alright. Wandering Emperor, Obscura Interceptor. That's what we're holding up. Possible they have counters. I mean, do they play counter spells in this deck? They do. They play Make Disappear. So they sack the creature. Make sure our Emperor doesn't resolve. Two, three, four, five, six, seven.
You won't be outsmarting me.
This is a good game, too. Farmhand's going to be able to get him a Plains. And then it's going to get a counter on it. I guess we just hang out. We cannot discard our Obscure Interceptor. We need it. So we're not going to be able to take up Liliana. We need this Interceptor if they play something massive. Yeah, let's Memory Deluge, see if we can get a meat hook. We can't. What we can do... We have Rafine, Cut Down, Serra Paragon. What's in the graveyard? Emperor, Airtie. Get Paragon and Rafine. Temporary Lockdown seems good. That's a nice draw. Let's attack with our tokens so we can draw a card with the wedding announcement. And then we'll hold up the Interceptor. Because if they get rid of the temporary lockdown, that's going to be bad for us. The Johnny. They don't have access to green, right? Let's put it back to their hand. Let's get a board presence established here. Now they have access to green. Alright. Revealed. Okay.
You won't be outsmarting me.
Oh, they didn't have any cards. That was stupid. Whoops. They got a March of Otherworldly Light. It's good. Yeah, that was really dumb. I was like, let's each player discard a card. Cool. I guess we're taking up Liliana, but... So we know they have a March of Otherworldly Light on top of the library. And then they drew it with Spirited Companion. So they can get our Serra Paragon. They can get the temporary lockdown. We're deciding what to do.
I'm home. We must protect the people.
Okay. Make them sack a creature.
Haven't you ever heard
Alright, cool.
of
So we're gonna get rid of a Johnny. Yes. And start attacking in. I think we accrued value. Enough value to get it going. Good game.